Spears and Steinberg.
You know what the it is?
Aries and Andy, Jew and the Jerk.
You know it's time to get this work.
The real raw, gutter, uncut, cold. No political corrections.
Always sleep.
Being awoke. We discuss politics and jokes.
Scribe, we lit.
There's levels to this shit. Before you was on your mama.
Aries Spears don't give a fuck.
We talk about race a lot, racism.
Sexism.
Much love to my loyal bag holders.
Rollers. Loaders.
We got them in the folders.
The whole world on our shoulders.
Spears and Steinberg.
Yeah.
This, oh Steve, comes to us from Chevalo. Another attempt at an oh Steve. A stingray swims up to one of his stingray buddies and says in black vernacular, "Man, you ain't never gonna believe this." His stingray buddy says, "What the f happened?" Well, do you have blood all over your stinger? The stingray tells his friend, "Man, I got one. One what?" "Man, I got me a human, and a famous one at that." "A famous human? Who?" "I can't remember his first name, but he hunts crocodiles, and his last name is Irwin." "Oh, Steve."
Yeah, he got them all.
He got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, tied it together.
What's his name, though?
Chevalo.
It sounds like a wine.
It does. Excuse me, do you have a, give me a nice bottle of Chevalo. What you have? Oh my, it is I. I haven't been around in a long time. It is I, William Barrington III. I'm sitting here at a nice restaurant, and I don't know what I need to wet my whistle. I just finished having a prime chuck bone-in with a Chablis Bleu Bleu. Waiter, can I please have a Chevalo, a 67? Thank you. And to my Mexican maid, just get her a tequila. You know what they drink. Is that good for you? What did I used to call it? You remember?
No.
Damn. I haven't done that character in so long. I don't even remember.
Consuela.
Consuela!
Yeah, it was.
Do you want a tequila? Well, what is he? See. Yes, get her a tequila. And if she doesn't pay the bill, extradite her. Steve, remember to put the music in for that character if you have to dig through the archives. Man, that threw me. All right. Damn. Andy, I don't know what them pills are you taking, but you getting sharp, man.
I'm getting better, man. I'm telling you.
I feel it. It's like
your
brain's in the gym rock.
I wasn't getting the nutrition I needed, man. I'm getting better, man. I'm telling you, I'm feeling better.
All right.
Look, look. My beard looks better. I'm better, man.
Well, then if you are as healthy as you say you are, you should be able to handle this.
No, because my senses are better. Don't.
It was a false. It was.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, it was a blank.
I didn't want to even hear it. I was trying to move your arm away. I didn't even want to hear that echo.
All right.
Oh, that would have been terrible. Trying to live a better life, and you're trying to come in here and
hit you with some ass gas. Eric Venable. Niggas. Yo, napkin and home slice. Damn, that sounds like that was written by an 80s sitcom white TV writer. This Thursday on NBC, it's Napkin and Home Slice.
With a guest appearance by Huggy Bear from Beretta.
There you go. I'm super black, and I make my own trail mix. I shop at Trader Joe's, and I hate mac and cheese. Black people are not a monolith. We are very different. Yes, I love my fried chicken and greens and cornbread, but you must realize that we are not all the same. My friends smoke Newports, but I smoke American Spirit, not Newports. Yes, I do not like my family's diction who live in rural America, but like you, I find it funny as hell. Unlike you, we are not the you think we are. Well, you can't be. Put some A on that. We not the you putting the ERS on that. Damn, black man. We are all very different, and we are trying to conform to this society as our ancestor society. Don't worry, my brother. You and Andy will get there. I believe Andy knows that those people that rule Palestine are fake ass, and they know the Bible is a black history book, and the enemy are the white peoples. All right, Eric. You was teetering a little on both lines, man.
Yeah, and I don't know what that had to do with his whole approach, but whatever. We can have that conversation some other time. I feel like I have to pull out my Star of David now. Yeah.
Devon 07, Spacey story. Hey guys, great show as always. Vaughn, the artist from DC here. Been a while since I wrote in. I'll try to make this brief, but my ex-girlfriend on some major Hollywood film projects back in the early 2000s on occasion would share some inside gossip that would always have me going, wow, really? Aries, I'm sure you are aware of the makeup artists in smaller inner circles or behind the scenes folks talk, and some have had experiences that they might not share with all in fear of the job being compromised. After hearing you all speak on Kevin Spacey, I felt compelled to write about a Spacey story from around 2004 she shared with me. She stated that a male friend of hers that worked as a server at a restaurant/coffee spot would have the occasional celeb would show up to which Spacey was chilling there one day by himself. She mentioned her friend was never fazed by celebs in general, and it was business as usual for him, so no big deal. Kevin Spacey places his order, etc., and when finished eating or drinking, before Spacey leaves, he asks the guy out, and the guy says no thank you and continues to serve others. Spacey asks him a second time in passing. He declines again in a civil manner by saying no thank you, I'm not interested, to which Spacey not only asks a third time, but follows up with, don't you know who I am? In an assertive tone. This happened back then before he was ousted, and as shocked as I was hearing the story, I totally believed it, because all the stories she shared with me, those celebs would always be exposed years later. True story, Vaughn, the artist from DC. I swear, I'm like, I don't do, I hate to sound like I'm just beating the same dead horse, but, I'm not that horror dude. And how come I can't get ahead? And these dudes do this shit. Jennifer Lopez is a diva and an asshole and mean to people. Kevin Spacey forces himself on people. And we could go countless and countless stories. I don't do none of that. I'm relatively a nice, misunderstood dude.
Nice. That's it. You just said it. A misunderstood dude. You know what? I'm going to say something that who said it to you about your weight? That you need to be fat. You either needed to get skinny or get fatter.
I don't know who said that.
I thought someone told you that.
Did I read an email?
No. Like someone actually.
Someone may have, but
And they said that you're in the middle. You can't be in the middle. You're misunderstood, and you're in the middle. You're not the nicest guy, but you're not an asshole. You have moments, and people have caught them.
But I almost not say take offense to. But when you say I'm not the nicest guy, what do you mean?
You have moments where you get mad and you let people know that you're mad.
If they do something to...
Yeah, but that doesn't make a difference. People don't know why you're mad. They just know that you're mad. So all I'm saying is you have to either be the nicest guy or a prick. There is no in between in this business. You're the nicest guy or you're the prick. You can't be in the middle of the road. Everybody in the middle of the road is getting run over by the cars. You have to be on one side of the street or the other.
Dude, I really like how you put yo. I really like how you put shit. It's fucking nice.
but it's true, because you hear about these guys that are the nicest guys, or you hear about these assholes that make it.
You have to be. What'd you say? You either go because if you
one side or the other, you can't be. You got to be on one side of the road. You get run over. Yeah.
Get your ass out the street.
Yeah, you got to be on one side or the other, because you're protected by assholes on the asshole side, and the nice people. I mean, nice people have careers in Hollywood. But let's be honest. How many nice people have careers in Hollywood?
Or how many are perceived to be nice people that have careers in Hollywood?
Perceived, but you hear the stories. There are people. Dude, and you know what? I just read this. I read a horrible story right now about... now I'm not even remember her name. See, I still have my moments. Breakfast Club. Not Breakfast. Yeah, it was not Breakfast Club. St. Elmo's Fire star. She was also in the striptease movie. What's her name?
Oh, Demi Moore.
Demi Moore. She had a horrible childhood.
Did she?
Horrible.
What was she like, molested or something?
Her mom, I just read this, so I don't even know. I didn't like verify or anything, but I'll just go with what I read today. Is that her mom got money from men to let her when she was like 16 years old.
Her mother hoard her out?
Yep.
Damn.
And she survived that, and I think that people like that go through things and struggle and come out of it, they're usually nicer because they have these issues, or they're horrible, or they're the Kevin Spacey people. Yeah. And I don't think, but I think that everybody who's gone through this, you have a choice. And like I said, the middle of the road people, they're getting run over. You're either one or the other. And I've never heard anything bad about her. And when I read that, I was like, oh my God, that's harsh. That's everybody thinks that they have a hard childhood. Then you hear about someone whose mom is getting money to let men have their way with her. I mean, that's hard. So I don't know, man. This business is conducive to people that have problems or have had problems, have trauma, and for people to come out of it. But I mean, there's nice people. I know there's nice people in this business, but this business there's a savvy to this business, and you have to defend yourself at all costs. So I don't know. I think it's a tough. I'm so happy, Aries, that I did this later in life and I get to enjoy what I do. But if I had to this was my whole life, I don't know, man. I don't know how you've done it, and to be able to be where you are this long in this business, very few people have been able to muster up that kind of inner. I don't even know what the word that I want to use is, but you're inside your character to not be broken down completely to go through this is unbelievable.
I do it because I've been to the mountaintop and I've seen the promised land. Now, I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people who get to the promised land, mine eyes have seen the coming of the Lord.
That's a tough business, man.
From a long time no hear from. Sergio Sosa. I like you, Tony. There's no lying in you. It's your boy Sosa, Sergio Sosa. I've been incognito dealing with losing my mom's last year.
Oh, man. Sorry about that, brother.
Laugh killed quick. Then losing my oldest brother a week later. Grief is something else, but listening to the podcast has definitely helped. I see that you're coming to Chicago in late October, so I'm looking forward to seeing you and Andy. Anyway, take care, and I know that although I've been silent, I'm still a day one. Your boy, Sergio Sosa.
Sorry for your loss, man, but I'm glad we could keep you up a little bit.
Hey, take it easy when you talk to me. Hey, who the you think you're talking to? You want to go to war? Tony, he's only hung up. He hung up. Chichi, get to Yale. I watched that the other day.
It's always good when it comes on.
Yeah, it is.
But let me ask you this though: do you watch the whole thing now, or do you watch like a certain like a great couple scenes and then you're out?
I watch that whole thing.
I just watch a few scenes. And
Really?
then I'm out. Yeah.
I watched that whole thing. Rami Yahoo, Brown Bat Signal, King Aries and Lord Fairhands. Rami here, you know, like that.
It's funny.
Rami here, the artist who needed the lady advice on moving to New York. I decided to move and life is good. I heard the bat signal and I had to slide out of the shadows. In response to the black bat signal, yeah, we eat trail mix. God damn, man. I personally don't get too crazy with the flavors, but I'll it up as long as I can remember. I was born plus raised in suburbs, kid in Alabama, if that means anything. My day one homie plus his wife also enjoy it, so at least 3 black people do. Ever since my dad started dating a white lady, become a high-level trail mix connoisseur. So it was white influence. Second thought to address. Fellas, I'm an artist. Requesting a quick briefing on how y'all would like the podcast characters, Bartholomew, the Whisper Guy, Sue Ann's husband, etc. to look. I'll draw them all out together on one piece and frame it for y'all. Only requesting 2 tickets to y'all's next show in New York. I also have the pottery wheels ready if y'all want to make some nice pottery for y'all's spots. Is that us going to like a pottery place where we sit down and...
It sounds like he has his own studio because he has a pottery wheel.
So it'd be me, you, and him with mud all on our hands and wrists.
Like that scene in Ghost.
Yeah, no, that's the gayest
No,
trio
I want to do that.
with your Birkins on.
No, I'm seriously, yeah, but I want to do that shit.
I'll watch you.
No dude. I just watched this video, and this dude is just knocking out pottery, and the way that it's an art form, man. It is serious art.
Complimentary wine available. Last point. It's about time I earned some damn respect around here. LOL. A&A's been reading my emails since 2020, and I think it's about time I earned an intro. Just brainstorming. At my barbershop, say I look like Prince, the symbol. So take it and run with it. If not, I'll be back in touch. You're a legend, Aries. P.S. Keep farting. It's great. A few raggedy titles. Speed is Peed, starring D on You Heaves and Sandra Fulop. D on You Heaves. What do you think about that?
I don't know. I like just peed. There's too much work on the other ones.
Right, and the piss has to come out and hit her at 50 miles an hour, and if it goes under 50, she explodes. Lean on Me is Lay on Me, starring Morgan. A hardcore special, King Dong, starring Jack Sack and Naomi Thoughts.
I like Jack Sack though. That's just funny.
No one's ever said it.
Yeah,
Jack Sacks.
Yeah, no
Jack
one's
Sacks.
Yeah.
You got to put an S on it because it's too nuts.
Yeah.
So Jack Sacks.
Yeah.
And King Dong is not a CGI gorilla. Actually, that's probably funny if it's a CGI gorilla with a massive
just everything.
Just everything. You know what I'm saying? As he's climbing the buildings, is going through windows, and he's just while he's okay. P.S. Y'all Lily Lickers is sleep for not watching the movie Shotters. 2002. Watch that. Real gritty, raw gangster starring Bob Marley's son, Kimani, and Jamaican rapper Sprague Benz. It's a certified hood classic. Where I'm from down south, I don't think y'all would be disappointed.
I think we should check it out.
You know, I'm going to be honest. I have no desire.
It's been recommended.
I know.
It's been recommended.
It's been recommended. Mark Johnson. Mark Johnson, your girl Kayla. Man, listen, I don't know why y'all try to have a conversation or debate with women. She's going to move the goalpost at every turn. Listening to her tell Andy that women don't have to explain things so men can understand sounds crazy to me. If women don't want men to understand, why did they make the documentary? Even when she was on with the trans guy, Girls to Man, they never really answered any questions. They just challenged what you guys asked or stated. It's mental illness, fellas. I'm sorry, not sorry, because they're going to be upset with me saying that. Dave Chappelle not having the exact definition of a turf is not a real deal breaker or some kind of insult. It's like y'all be scared to ask the obvious questions so you can be PC. But come on, man. Who are you talking about scared to ask questions?
We just didn't know the right question.
I asked what I thought felt needed to be asked.
That's
and don't
it.
ever question my level of ballsiness. Just ask them, why are we being forced to accept them dressed as the opposite sex when they couldn't accept themselves how God made them? I really don't see how lesbian women say they don't like men and then go with a woman trying to be a man and use are fake, but they don't like. So why isn't the enough? Well, you know, I do a joke when I address two lesbians at my show about that very thing, because you know, not to give away the joke, but the bottom line is. When I say besides, which I believe, if you don't think anything else or assume anything else is a given between two women eating each other's, it has to happen. It's like what man turns down a, you know, you get your date, but then I wonder what happens past that. Is there any form of to which the lesbians go, yeah? And my punchline is, well, really, y'all like, you just don't like what come with it. And then I circle, meaning us men. You like your a la carte. So yeah, but the part where you go, why are we being forced to accept them dressed as the I don't think we're being forced to accept anything. We might not understand it, we might not agree with it, but I don't think anybody's forcing you to accept anything.
Well, to his point, though, when you say that you have to address someone that you see them and you look at them and you think they're clearly male and they want to be addressed as a woman, that's what he means by forced, I think. And I, you know what the thing is, there is, I can't even remember the word now because I'm going to get worked up on this one because I understand what he's saying, but I want to say it in the right way because I'm not dismissing the other person's needs. I said before on here, how would you feel if you felt that you were trapped in the wrong body? That's really what this comes down to, and it's body dysmorphia. That's the word I was looking for, and it is a mental health issue. Body dysmorphia is where you feel like you're trapped in the wrong body. Now, if you feel that, is that just a mental issue? You know, this is where we are right now. It's what we're trying to decide this is. We're trying to, and if someone does have that issue, do we make their life worse by not letting them be who they feel that they are on the inside? And that's really the question. Now, your point is that it's wrong to make someone feel comfortable in their delusion, as you put it. But if that is their accepted feeling inside and they can't get out of that, if that's where they live, and you're forcing them to, if it's respectfully asked that they feel this way and that they would like to be addressed that way, I'm not going to try to be, if it's respectful and it's understanding that that's how they feel and that's how they identify and they feel better and they approach me not as an asshole but as someone who didn't know, and then I go, okay, yeah, you're Shirley instead of Stan. Okay, Shirley, yes, I can do that for you if that's what you need to get through your day. It doesn't affect my day. If Stan is Shirley, that is not going to affect my day. But there is a balance in here, and I don't know that you want to accept any balance, and that's the only problem I have with what you're saying. I agree with everything you said, except is there a balance for the person that's going through that? I don't have a problem giving them that, giving any person who needs that extra. If you're homeless, that doesn't mean you want to. And I'm not comparing the two. I'm just saying if you're homeless and you don't want to be homeless, you can look at someone and go, I'm not giving them any money. They don't need any help. That's their problem. You could look at it that way, or you could be the person that has some compassion and go, hey man, I'm not going to give you any money because I don't know what you're going to use it for, but can I get you a sandwich? You got to decide where you want to fall in where your compassion is to your society and how you want to be involved. That's the difference to me. That's just mine.
Leroy Furious. Black people love overcooked beef. Yes, the fuck black people do overcook. My father back in like 2018 purchased a well-done burger from Fuddruckers. Damn, I miss Fuddruckers.
It's good.
We don't have that in. We used to. We never had that in L.A.
You never had Fuddruckers? I thought you did.
Nah.
Yeah, Fuddruckers is good, man.
Yeah, we had Fat Burger.
Fat Burger's good too, though.
Fat Burger's good too, but Fuddruckers, boy,
That's
Fuddruckers used to be here.
Yeah, because you could build your own burger.
Yeah,
you get all that lettuce,
They
all
used
the
to have
pickles
them-
you
they used
want.
right down the street.
And I like pickles and pickle relish because pickles
put
are
both?
sour. Pickles are sour. Pickle relish is
Just
sweet.
sweet.
So I put them both on.
Look at you sweet sour.
Yeah, man, that's my Asian part. I want some sweet and sour.
The way that Fuddruckers to make them. Okay. Well done, Fuddruckers, with our family. We took the food home and began to eat. While enjoying our meal, he noticed the center of his beef had pink in it. This man drove all the way back to Fuddruckers to make them give him a well-done burger. And then he came all the way back home to eat his well-done burger. Crazy shit, funny but crazy. Black people need to know that beef is best enjoyed medium rare. Well done is overcooked, and it's disrespectful to actual chefs. Anyway, I've been a vegetarian since 2019, so I'm out of the loop. Brawl in Cell Block 99 is better than The Godfather Part 1. Nigga, fuck out of here. Is that really disrespectful to chefs?
Yeah, well, I don't think it's more disrespectful to the cattle to ruin its existence, to char it like that. But a chef wants to serve something that's at its peak taste. But here's my problem with it for working in the restaurant business, and this happens every time. and it's not just black people, but yes, black people especially, but there's a lot of people that will come in and order a well-done steak or a well-done burger, and it takes a lot longer to cook that. So by the time someone orders something that's well done and everyone else had placed orders before, you see the other tables that have placed orders, they're all getting their food and you're still waiting for your food and you're getting pissed because you're like, why is it taking so long? Because you ordered a well-done burger. And I can make a burger in a few minutes, but it's going to take me double the time.
Isn't the customer always right?
You're right, but how can you get mad that it took longer to get your food out? I had to cook it longer. If I have to cook it longer, I can't get it out sooner. So that always happens, and people always are pissed. And I'll be real. I'm going to be. This is the white guy in me saying this right now. 100% white dude. We're saying this right now. There's nothing worse than when you're the white server at the black table.
I love it already. A white server at a black table. Bring me my goddamn food, Hunky.
And then everybody orders a well done piece of meat, whether it's a burger or steak, but especially steak because it takes even longer.
That's
get it all the way.
Funny.
And
you made work for free for 400 years, and you can't work an extra 20 minutes for a goddamn
that's
nigga burger.
not the problem. Then you go back there, it's cooking, and you walk out, and you're serving the other tables that you took the order from after their table, and they're looking at you like, where's our food? Why ain't I getting my food? What's wrong with us? Why can't I get my food? You're right.
It's because we black.
I'm gonna tell you, it's uncomfortable as it's uncomfortable as because and then you got to go no because you ordered it well done. It takes longer to cook.
I want my meat to look like Andy's skin color if he said in a room full of. That's how I want to set on my meat to look. Pinkish red. Let me ask you, have you ever eaten a piece of meat rare, bloody rare?
I ate raw carpaccio.
When you say raw, you mean not cooked?
Yeah.
No, I mean cooked, but rare.
Yeah.
With the blood?
Yeah, I don't like a rare. I like I like medium. Medium is I don't like medium rare. I don't like.
What is it you don't like about rare? Is it the texture or
texture,
the blood aspect?
The texture. I don't like the texture. And there's a I don't want to feel anything that's. It needs to be warmer than my mouth. So I don't want to feel like it's cold. It has to feel warmer than my mouth.
But if it just came out the oven.
Even in rare, when you get rare,
yeah.
that inside center part
a little cold.
is still cold compared to your mouth. It's not, we're 98 degrees, so it's probably 90. I don't know what it is, 87 degrees.
Right.
And so it feels cold. I don't like that. I want to feel like, but I like it pink. I like it pink all the way. I like pink. I'm sorry, I like pink.
Right. I mean,
I'm a fan.
We all like pink.
I'm a fan.
You know what I'm saying? Alexa Flowers, bat signal. Hey, fellas, it's been a while since I've written in. I wanted to answer the call. So my mom is Mexican and my dad is Belizean, black, and they do overcook their meat. I mean, it ends up being jerky. LOL, strangely enough, the carne asada on the grill was always on point.
See? That's what I said.
It wasn't until I got older and could start cooking and ordering my own food did I realize I love my steak medium. I have to have some pink in there. Insert dirty joke here. It's the only way. Also, I do love sushi, but again, this isn't something I started until I became an adult and my friends introduced me to it. Anyway, I'm here with you guys every week. Keep up the amazing work, and hopefully I can get to a live show sooner than later.
Yeah, the carne asada always tastes better because it is marinated, so it still has juiciness to it.
Man, you, Andy, have about 2 more times to be correct over me when it comes to the black culture. And then you and I are going to step outside and swap hands.
I pay attention to culture, man. I love it. I love watching everybody, man. I love it. It makes me. I get joy out of it. I get joy out of experiencing other people's.
I already know that this episode is going to be called "Andy's Right."
No, it's
Jack Hardy, nigga signal received. Overcooked Fandy, overcooked food. Has Andy eaten soul food? What's happening, Mr. Spears and Mr. Steinberg? Responding to black people overcooking their food. Has Andy been to a barbecue? I mean, a black people cookout where either a great uncle looks up looks you up and down and says, boy, you better fix you a plate, or where the aunties will not allow you to fix your own plate. That said, if black people did overcook their food, it would happen exactly once, and nobody outside the family would know because that person would not be allowed to cook again, or the people who can cook would just show up with food that is done right, which brings me to my next point. Trail mix, like a bag of nuts and raisins, ain't Mr. Spears, my understanding was that we as black people are allowed to do white people like eating mix, trail mix, and eating blonde. However, these are not things we normally do, either in the presence of other black folks or when we are gathered. I will white blonde in a pile of Muslims. So if me and my boys from the hood are about to get something to eat, I am not going to use my Bartholomew Carrington, the third voice, and say, my fellow African-American brethren, shall we, let me do it in there was, my fellow African-American brethren, shall we gather in the cruiser and embark to the country club to partake of an artesian variety setting of leafy greens and petite young vegetable medley, perhaps with a splash of vinaigrette. Steve, make sure you put that music behind that.
That was good.
Yeah. You better take me to Tony's so I can get the Wonder Bread meatloaf sandwich stuffed in a brown paper bag. I guess I could have summarized by saying, regarding trail mix, no is going to tell anybody that he eats nuts. And if he does eat nuts, he won't do it by choice in front of that other no diddy. Also, Mr. Steinberg is correct, but the fact is most people overcook their food. When I worked in the food service, I learned that food should be cooked to a safe temperature, and at least in my experience, people do not cook that way. Peace out, fellas. Jack Hardy. P.S. Mr. Spears, I plan on submitting an attempt on an Steve, but I want to ask permission to use a snippet from your nigga book video, or do I need a big boogaloo, LOL? Or do I need to ask big boogaloo, LOL? Either way, you got my blessing. Listen, black people eat nuts, and I don't know that we don't eat nuts in front of each other. I've never heard that one. We eat nuts in front of each other. You know what I'm saying? I just was on the trail mix. So it sounded like he agreed with me about trail mix, but agree with you about overcooked.
Overcooked, but he's saying most people overcook. And I'm not going to disagree with that. I just noticed it in the black community even more. But what he said about barbecue, there's something that happens when you run the barbecue grill. I don't know what it is.
When you run it, like man it?
Yeah, when you're the one that you tend to not, when you're in charge of it, I think that you are, you know that it's cooked right and you let it go. But when you send it back into a restaurant and you want someone else to cook it, you want to make sure it's done. That's the only thing I can come up with, because I see the same thing, like I said, in Mexican barbecues, same thing.
All right.
But it is the marinade on the carne asada that makes it stay moist. Not that it's not necessarily.
That carne asada steak is so thin, but so goddamn delicious.
And you can only put it on there for a little bit, or it does turn
It'll
into
burn.
It turns into a board, man.
Does it really? Like
Yeah,
hard? Like
yeah.
if the meat is tougher?
Yeah.
Oof.
The thinner it is, the less time you can put on it.
Justin Burris from Baston. Holy Christ, kid. A&A, my guys, been 4 years since my last email. For good reason, because I've been going through it. Just would like to congratulate you both on the growth, pause, and success over the years. While Aries has been gaining more success despite the failed attempts at getting him canceled, Andy, on the other hand, has gained a few inches on his pause by being brutally honest and unbiased. And funny enough, as I'm typing this, I'm listening to Half Truths episode, and Andy is going to off in regards to the last email. Many blessings and well wishes on the wedding, Andy. And lastly, Aries, will you be attending the wedding? Much love, y'all, and may the blessings and good fortune keep coming your way. I'm still on the cuff about whether or not I'll be at the wedding. I might go, but Annie and might not know I'm coming, because my intention was to piss in the punch and get some diabetic flavor into the punch with my diabetic piss. So, you know, when everybody's drinking sweet, cool punch and they get that lemon lime squinch, that'll be my diabetic piss. And that'll be my contribution to the wedding.
Well, we took the punch out of the wedding, so I'm safe now.
Oh, well, then I'm going to piss in the champagne. Either way, you're going to get some of my piss.
No, but thanks for. I appreciate the love for the on the wedding, man. This is a big. I got to be really honest with everybody. I've been through this before. I didn't think this was going to be. I thought I was doing this for someone else. I thought I was doing it for her. I thought I was doing it for her mom. And I'm really excited about it, actually. Like, I'm very happy to be sharing this experience. And I know I'm sharing it with her, but there's something about this that's so weird. My kids, my grown boys, are going to be there. They're my best men. And the fact that they're there with me, it's like such a... I don't know why it's even more special, but, like, everything that's important to me is going to be... Like, it's my boys, the most important thing to me. And Tara... is like the most important thing to me, and they're all coming together in this moment that I never imagined having. So this is, I'm getting very excited about it. And this weekend's over. Basically, we got one more show tonight, and then we're going away to Austin, and then after that, it's on.
Have you guys officially picked the honeymoon destination?
No, we don't know what we're going to do because we're going to do it later. We can't do it right now. She has too much. She has time into the wedding, too much time, put into, not that she took time off from work, but not being focused. And then, we have a few dates coming up. So we haven't thought about that, but I think I'm going to steal her for a couple days and we're going to go down. When we first moved out, I brought her out here when I brought her out to Jersey, when she moved back from Arizona, we stopped in, we went to the Westin in Philadelphia. And I really liked it. It was like one of the nicest places I stayed. It's a really nice Westin. And I think I'm going to get her on the train. We're going to go to Philadelphia for the night, do it up, have a really nice dinner, go out that next day, just have fun, get back on the train and go back home and just do like a little day trip just to like, get away for the day.
Well, I feel just, if nothing else, at some point I really want to christen a wedding. So
I'm not letting you know where I'm going to be ever.
Well, if you do, just know that my intention is to drug you both, knock you out, and you both.
I'm not letting you know where I'm at ever. No, it would be great if you showed up, but I know you had your gig and you guys are working hard on getting, that thing going. So I didn't have any animosity that you weren't going to show up. I said to Terry, she goes, do you think Aries will come? And I said, it depends on the schedule. It really does. And I didn't have any, I thought about it. If I could have been able to like do the one nighter and still get back home in time for the wedding, that I would probably be at the one nighter too. So, I get it.
All right. Ty Pope, we need your take. What up, MC Squeamish and DJ Doodoo Hands? Aries,
I just love that.
Aries, I know you said you're a dinosaur and don't really check for anything new, but we at
It's been such a good run, too.
But we be needing your comic take on a lot of shit. Man, I am so above that level of ignorance. It took me a couple of looks for me to figure out what the he was just trying to say.
But Ted, it wasn't wrong, though.
In what part? But we be needing?
Yeah, but he said it was using the vernacular.
Listen, don't tell me how my people talk. What their intentions is. But we be needing your comedic take on a lot of shit, like the Kendrick versus Drake thing. We definitely needed them jokes from you, bro. This is for Andy. I totally understand what you're saying about slavery, that we have to do the history of all slavery, but chattel slavery in America is what is affecting us right now. There are corporations still thriving from what they did to us. Black people were literally the first commodity on Wall Street, and that's only one thing. Again, I understand what you're saying about all slavery throughout history, but you seem to dismiss the slavery that directly affects us today. Before this gets too long, I just want to say this too. Man, Abe Lincoln. Peace, y'all. Now, Andy, before you respond, just keep in mind, PG did write a rebuttal to you.
Yeah, no, I know.
Did he send it to you?
No, I think you said that to me.
Yeah, so don't save all your ammunition.
No.
For
No,
don't go too crazy.
I wasn't going to go crazy at all. No, I agree with you 100%. But here's two things to what you're saying.
Oh, shit, I actually did that shit I do.
Did you disappear? Okay, well, that's okay. Here's the two things. One, I agree with you, and chattel slavery was of the worst magnitude. But we still deal with slavery in the world today, and that doesn't mean anything about what the black experience in America was. That has nothing to do with it. When we talk about slavery, we talk about it as it's affected just one. This is the end all be all, and America was it. And no, it was actually worldwide. And when people say things, and when we talk about chattel slavery and how it developed, honestly, that did come up from more of the Brazil-styled slavery that they were doing there. We took it to another level here. I'm not going to deny that. But talking about it in terms and understanding it, I think it has to be a conversation that we learn and expand on our thought process, empathy, and understanding of how it affected everyone at that time until today, and make sure that people understand exactly, and as you just said in what you said, that it still affected, the still effects of it can be felt today, and that's what's missing. But the way you said it, I don't have any negative retort to you. I agree with you. When you get to the Lincoln thing, we can have another conversation with that because there's more to come on that. So we'll get to it. But I didn't disagree with what you said. That's the whole point. I agreed with you. You thought I was going to disagree completely.
No. Sometimes I listen to this podcast or I recall certain conversations that we have. And even though it's a joke made for the podcast, I think to myself, can you put that in a stand-up bit? Because, of course, you have to kind of guess right around it. It's like when Dave Chappelle did the equanimity special, and he said, I take premises and put them in a fishbowl, and I pull one out, and I read what the punchline is, and then write the joke around it. I don't know what the premise is, but whatever the punchline, whatever I pull out the bowl is going to be the punchline. Because that, I'll a white on a pile of Muslims.
He's very funny.
Very funny. I got to figure out how to make a joke with that. Okay.
No, I think it's funny. You can't
listen.
You can't highlight the idea, and the visual is amazing.
Yes. Anytime you get a real reaction in real time, like when you laugh, I go ding. Okay, that might be fishbowl worthy. Because I remember when we were in Philly, and we were in what was it? No, we were in Philly, and me and you were in a cab, and I think we were going to Pat's, and that's when I did the line for the first time about Mississippi. That's where go to die. And the way you and the cab driver bellied, I went boom. So yeah, I think that's how my writing process is going to start to go. Real time. 817_Corey. A random thought. What's up, A&A? I'm currently at work right now, but who gives a damn? LOL. While I was working, can you imagine if a doctor said that? I'm at work right now, but who gives a damn?
Yeah. I'm at work right now, but I gotta. Yeah, he's on an IV. He's gonna be fine.
While I was working, I had a random thought from an episode of the podcast. Aries, do you remember when you told the story of a fan telling you their brother looked exactly like you? You explained how pissed you were because he said he looked like a toad. LMFAO. The thought I had was Andy asking you, well, are you sure he didn't look like you after your toad comment? That had me dying. Andy, you are funny, and I'm glad you're starting to give yourself credit more often. Thank y'all for helping me get through this busy-ass workday. Hopefully this email doesn't have any $10. I will be emailing again soon. Peace. Listen, anything that Andy has done better, I am taking full credit for. You know what I'm saying? I have pushed this to the ledge and dared him to jump, and he's jumping without a parachute. So it is what it be.
Dude,
damn it.
But when you met me in my comedy, in my stand-up, I know that you would say that I still had a lot more to do, like and to be free. Mm-hmm. But I was doing shit that you got to remember I hadn't been doing comedy that long, and I was doing shit that surprised you. The black church joke, that was pretty ballsy for a white dude to get up in front of a room of black folks and do it. And I didn't do it first time for you. Earthquake heard that joke and thought that joke was great.
Right.
So I mean, I'm just saying. I just on the podcast, I've just approached the podcast differently because people don't know me, and this is so much more personal. And so that's why I always approach it this way. They know you.
Yeah, but again, I keep telling you that doesn't matter.
It matters.
Funny is funny.
Yeah, I guess. Sometimes I'm just funny, and I think as a kid, I wasn't made to feel good about being funny. I would say funny things, and then people would be mad or angry or hurt, and so I guess I just became more careful as I got older. And then when it became my job, I had to lose some of that where I felt like I made people angry and hurt.
Yeah, we got to shake that abuse off you.
Yeah, you were encouraged to go make people angry and hurt.
Right.
Yeah.
But a little bit historically, that it also comes from the fact that you white guys, y'all don't play the dozens, man.
No.
Black people, we grow up, like you said, you're joking when you said you're designed to go out and make people hurt, but we didn't see it as going out and making people hurt. That's just what we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and as I got old, I did it, but there's moments like where fortunately for me, the people that I was around, we could act that way, but I sometimes didn't realize not to do it to other people outside of my group. And I could see that I clearly hurt people. And it was, when you're not a comedian, when it isn't your job, when you're just having fun, and then you see that you really someone up, that stuck with me for a long time because that was never my intention. Even as a comic, when you're out there and you're doing your best jokes and you're having a good time, when you see someone get up, yeah, you blame them because they're not supposed to be that. They came to a comedy show. They know better. But no one wants anybody to go home in a worse place than they were when they came there.
I do. That email that we read from the guy that you said sounded like wine, Chevralo.
Yeah, Chevalier.
Tell me if this sounds like wine too. Laquan Chenault.
Yeah.
Yeah, these boy.
Yeah.
Let me have a nice bottle of Laquan Chenault. I usually say I'm a genius, but I don't want to take Aries' thing. I appreciate you guys, and I'm happy that you both look healthy and getting fit. I live in Bushwick, Brooklyn. It's crazy the amount of envy I receive from Latinos. It's interesting the minority groups in New York City and how they have exploited but been influenced by Laquan, man. Niggas.
You know what? I bet that's the computer. That's the spell check. They
got it right.
He spelled it right, but then
he spelled the spell check spelled it niggers.
Yeah, he did it, and then it took it.
You meant to say.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's a Dell. It's a Dell computer. No, I don't want to get sued by Dell.
I was gonna say, but she's not associated with the computers. Who was the old Southern? Lost her show, the cooking show. Paula Dean.
Paula Dean. Yeah,
it's a Dean.
Yeah, it's the Dean computers. That's it.
Yeah. Well, you meant to say, honey. This is an extreme self-loathing, and there is an extreme self-loathing in Latino community, and I have had to correct some of these disrespectful idiots. I'm sure you guys will remember, but I am a painter. I have been showing my paintings on corner of 23rd and Park. The image attached is my First Amendment painting. I would love to hear what you guys think. I know you will love it. I'm excited because I could feel it is really strong. Anyway, the painter John Curran shook my hand outside Big Gallery in New York City. Ever heard of that guy, John Curran?
No.
Because I know you're an arts guy.
Yeah, but I don't know the name.
This guy is a billionaire and invited me to pizza. In the moment, I didn't take the opportunity. Now I'm on a corner slanging paintings, LOL. Are you sure it's pizza he really wants you to have? Probably want to put pizza with his sausage on it. It's really sad how the black community has no interest in supporting an artist like me. It's interesting how extremely homosexual fine art is and how lots of these old guys are literally just trying to coerce and exploit. I would love to hear you guys' thoughts on the painting. If you can get further in career by instead of merit or integrity do you for position? Well, you always technically for position, but I hear what you're saying. I get women who want to more than buy paintings. Aries and Andy, be well. Nurture your friendship. I really appreciate you guys' dynamic. First Amendment over kikes.
I like it.
Chink, spick, cunt, incel. What is that though?
Is that a person?
Is it a person? Yeah, there's a ton. What y'all think?
Now we got demonetized.
Oh, Anthony will just blank all that out.
He'll pixelate it.
Yeah. Dude, so women, wow. You know, I it's unfortunate again because we're treading the same waters. And you know, one of the emailers said that black people aren't a monolith, which is true. We're many in all things. We always have been. But the frustrating part for somebody like you, and even though I'm not a painter, but for somebody like me, is I know that there is a strong section within our community that isn't open to art or things that are a little bit more sophisticated. Like I said, we're very homophobic. We're very closed off to the idea of art and things that reach a different level of, I don't know what the right word is, but, it's almost like if it ain't ghetto, if it ain't street, if it ain't hood, if it ain't simple, we don't want to fuck with it. It reminds me of that Chris Rock joke. It was like, what you think you a smarty art nigga? You think you smart? Question is, can you whoop my ass? There's just a section of us that don't know how to embrace nor even want to try to embrace that's artsy and it's just different. I know there's a better word for it. I just can't think of it.
I think the culture, I think all cultures change. I don't want to say change. They progress. They invite more in and they bring more up. I would hope that that's what all cultures strive to do. And I think that that's changed a lot in the black community. I think the younger black community does have a lot more of that. And I think the over-eagerness of the white community to embrace things that are not white, I think makes it seem a little off-putting. But I think that is the intentions are to be more inclusive to all, and I think that that's a good thing. It just the way that they rushed out and go like everything was grand. It was the off-putting part. But I think the intentions are correct. I just think the way you do it has to feel more organic and more true to the heart. That's on the white side. The black side, I think it's just the development of culture. And again, I said, as everything comes together, the more as you feel that you're actually free, the more freedom that you feel, the more you can become yourself. I think that the fact that the black community, as what you were just stating, felt so like monotone, like this is what it is. This is the black community, and I think that's when that last writer wrote in that you still feel effects from these things of slavery. I think that feeling in a group that you didn't move out of this area because that's the way that you survived is what caused this. And I said, when you say that you still feel the effects of it, I think that's part of it. But as we see, as black communities run their community, black communities grow and more power, you see people that's going away. That's falling by the wayside.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I have to say this so I don't lose my point. See, even when you say, which is true, the effects of slavery today. The effects of slavery today is what will cause some of our people that say it good, baby, how it is, to not want to go and try to understand and appreciate art.
Yeah.
And the finer things, because they don't know that it exists, and it's above them. It's outside their scope in terms of understanding and appreciation. Now, let me tell you, I remember I came here, I had to do a little bit of press here in Pittsburgh when I got off my red eye. And I remember the guy, one of the questions that I often get asked when I go from city to city, hey, do you get a chance to enjoy the city? Do you get a chance to do much? And my answer is always pretty much the same. Not really. I do a little bit of press. We barricade and hibernate in the room till it's time to work, and that's it. Very rarely, unless we're in a city where there really is a lot to do, we don't do much. And I remember I said, yeah, whenever I'm here, we visit one of my favorite spots from Triple D, Big Jim's on the Run, with the big fried chicken parmesan sandwich. And then a second later, I thought, that's all I did. But then I remembered, I said, wait a minute. I said my podcast partner and my featured comedian, Andy Steinberg, took me to the Andy Warhol Museum, which is here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
So I forgot that I had done that. Now I'm saying that to say this. Looking back on it, and I even said to the radio guys, I'm not an art guy like that, like you are, and I'm certainly not an Andy Warhol fan. So while a lot of it was a little bit too abstract for me and out of my reach, there's a part of me that goes, listen, if I could snap my fingers and have the life that I really want, even if I'm not the world's biggest fan of the piece, because of what I know it means and what it represents in terms of prestige and value, listen, if I could have a big crib with the right kind of marble floors and the right kind of walls, yeah, I would put a couple of pieces up in the crib so I could walk around with a glass of red wine, and it's some sophisticated, sexy shit when you can do it at the level it's supposed to be done on. So while I might not be the biggest Andy Warhol fan, I am a fan of a lifestyle that, embraces the finer things that would be seen as classy and interesting, an interesting conversation piece. And it adds some swag to the crib.
Okay, but there's two things to this, two points that I want to make to what you just addressed. One, the reason that Andy Warhol is important and the reason that it should be important is because what Warhol, in his basic, not don't get abstract, don't go into some of the other things that Warhol did or who he was, his movies, the other things. Just in his basic, what he was doing was capturing great pieces of Americana and what reflected an American ideal or thought, or he just, like the Campbell soup can is it is the Campbell soup can to me represents the same thing a bowl of fruit did in France when they were painting, a bowl of fruit and still life. That's a Campbell soup can. That's American. It's sitting on a shelf, but that's our still life. That's what we saw. That represented something to us. But also, when you go through that and you look at the iconic figures that Andy Warhol painted, Muhammad Ali is one of those figures.
See, like a piece like that.
Diana Ross is one of those figures. It just shows and it captures where the culture has recognized black people in the culture. And Andy Warhol, the reason I say this is important, and the only reason I'm bringing this up is Andy Warhol was just a mirror for America. He wasn't the world's greatest artist. He was the world's greatest reflection of America. And so when you see those pieces and you see black people in them, you should be able to see that through the eyes of what is considered to be a great artist in America, black people are reflected. And that is important to me. That is part of the culture. And when you have someone that is reflecting the culture and he shows where black people are in this, that's important. Now, he also did a series on drag queens, and a big part of that was black. And here's why that's also important. And I mean this. When black people do something, they don't half-ass it. They come all the way out.
Yeah,
and so that was part of that too.
Unless they gay and then they half-ass it.
But that was the New York thing, and it was happening in New York, and he captured all that, and he encapsulated it, and that was also part of that. I'm only saying it to say that when someone like Warhol captures that has to say something about where people are in America and what they see. He didn't reflect things that weren't there. So that's what's awesome. The other thing I was going to say, you said that about the black people that you said with that affect in their voice.
What it is.
Well, but where's that from?
How much is CD Wood?
That's white South. Old poor white South.
I know.
And what is that part of as well? Come on, let's just be honest though.
Don't pour that off as some sort of white influence.
No, it's not white influence, but that
not allowing niggas to read is where that came from.
That's a lot of it, but here's another part of that, which you're not going to like at all, but I'm going to say it anyway. Poor white folks didn't read either. Not by design, by choice. They just didn't. They didn't care. They worked on their farm. Or they were a farm hand, and that's what they did.
I'll take not being able to read as a poor white folk. Then, if as long as it don't come with the whippings, the lynchings, the castrations, the rape.
I didn't make one better than the other. I'm talking about the speech and the vernacular and the attitude. Do you think the white people who speak like that are really like art aficionados either?
Probably not.
Okay, so there's some similarities in this. But white people don't connect themselves to those white people. But black people, for some reason, not just because of you, but because of white people, not because of just your attitude, what you just said, because you don't like that a part of that culture. You don't, not say you don't like it, let's say you don't identify it and think of it highly. But I think white people put that on all. That's why we're going through this. That movie that we just saw. Everything negative is black. Everything that that you're struggling from is black. When there's white people that are in that same category. But for whatever reason, we don't own it. We don't have to own it.
I don't know. Whenever you say those things to me, that shifts where my focus is. Like I don't know when you say that to me, it makes me go, oh.
No.
Okay.
No.
Because I can't worry about them. I'm worried about my own.
Yeah, but here's what I'm trying to say to you that you don't get because you're too focused on that part. As a white, the average white person doesn't relate or own that group of white people. They don't. That doesn't affect them. That isn't part. They don't look at it as they have to be part of that culture. When it happens in black culture, you're affected by everything in black culture. So whether it's the poor blacks that don't speak and they have the affect, to the richest rich of the black and doing well and being successful and doing whatever they do, and all the way through that whole gradient from bottom to top, you somehow, black people are always forced to deal with that whole side. And usually more on the net. The billionaire white dude doesn't have anything to do with that lower level. I hate saying lower level because it's not what I'm trying to say. But that culture.
But you guys were never put in the position where sticking together had to happen.
Exactly.
We've always had to stick together. We've always had to fight the fight that we needed to fight for our sake.
But I think at some point, and that's why I'm saying the freer it happens, the freer it gets, the most. The
freer it gets, the less we stop being a community.
And all communities do that. Yeah, all communities start to move away and go where they feel the most comfortable.
Well, then I hope we stay oppressed.
No, you go where you're the most comfortable, and you can see it. In different parts of the community, and I don't like to use Atlanta as the be all end all for this, but Atlanta being run by black,
Chicago,
being black,
Atlanta, you could say DC, Chocolate City.
DC's another great one, but DC is just such a convoluted city because of the politics and everything else that goes in there. Atlanta's the city to me that it's on its own. It happened from the South. It's a southern city, and it is run. It is a black. It's a black city. And the businesses are black, the community is black. But I think that all in that community, because it is so successful, that it's developed its own neighborhoods and entities within the black community. And I'm not saying they have to be divided. I'm just saying they can feel comfortable being in their own, having a presence besides. They're all proudly black, but they have a presence within themselves that isn't necessarily connected to the other's community. That's what I'm trying to get to. White has always had that advantage. I don't think black has had that advantage.
Listen, I think I've made it to the level I want to make it to when I can just have an Andy Warhol piece in my house, and I got a glass of red wine like a Chevrolet Blue Blay, and some chick that I'm with goes, "What is the meaning of this piece?" And I just go, "I don't know. It's just expensive. Give me some."
And that's I think that's what we're all striving for.
Yeah. But yeah, and then not even till you mentioned, I forgot Muhammad Ali, Diana Ross, where I went. Was there anything in the museum that you liked? And yes, those. But I also like the gun piece, the thing with the gun, the big gun. Yeah, so to have something like that at the crib, yeah, just yeah. So I'm saying all that to say I appreciated that, even though it wasn't my thing necessarily.
I get that, but all art should be experienced. It doesn't have to be your thing. Just like experiences are experiences. Art are artists, and going to an artist retrospective is an experience. And it's just good to see the reflection of how they see things. That's all.
Justin Carroll. Steak and M&Ms. Peanut M&Ms, yes. Trail mix, no. Oh, right. I currently am a truck driver, but before this, I bartended in Vegas for about 15 years. So I have some experience with our people ordering steak wrong. See, let me stop for a second. But how can he say that? Like, that's factual. Ordering steak. There is no wrong way for something that you like. I think we have a fear of becoming ill from eating undercooked food. When I was young, my mother always overcooked steak, turning me off to it as an adult. But as I've aged, I've learned the proper way to order, and it is a completely different experience. Congrats to Andy and Tara, and continued success to both of you. P.S.
you.
I am a Knicks fan since the 90s, and I can still admit Jordan is a GOAT. You have to, because he busted the Knicks' asses for the entire 90s run.
He busted everyone's ass for the 90s
Yeah,
runs.
but the Knicks and Bulls, the Knicks and Bulls was right there as far as rivalries with the Pistons and the Bulls. That Pat Riley Knicks Bulls rivalry was awesome.
Don't forget Bulls and Pacers.
That wasn't really.
Yeah, it was a rivalry.
Not really.
Yeah,
More
it was.
Knicks and Pacers was a rivalry.
But
the Bulls and Pacers wasn't really a rivalry.
If the Pacers lived, if this team was in a bigger market, yeah, it would have been a rivalry. It would have been that same kind of rivalry.
Detroit's not a big market.
It's a big It's a big city. It's a well-known city. It has the panache of a big city.
Panache. There you go.
Indiana's Indiana.
Yeah.
The Reggie Miller games were unbelievable. Come on, man.
I don't recall Jordan and Reggie clashing like that. Not in the playoffs.
Well, it would have been nice if they could have got to the playoffs together.
Yeah. Let me read this last one from your boy Pete.
And there is something wrong with overcooking your steak. I'm going to say, I know you say if that's how you like it, that's how you like it, but not always.
Technically, you're not right.
Yeah, but you're not necessarily liking it because you like it. You like it because that's what you're used to. That's what you know. But like when he started ordering it differently, and you can get the flavor of the meat and you taste it, it's worth it. It's worth knocking the animal out.
Right.
I don't know that it's worth knocking it out to make jerky.
All right, he writes two. I'm going to read them both because they're both short.
And don't throw them away though. Keep them up there so if we have to go back.
So PG, Andy White tricks again. Andy had no response to my email about slavery, so he deflected by focusing on my mention of America. I live in America, which is why I only referred to it. Let me clarify. Slavery existed everywhere and was perpetuated by white people. As I said before, the enslaved people and the traders didn't know they would be mistreated wherever they were taken. They thought they were going to work for someone else, essentially like trading goods. Stop the nonsense and admit when you are wrong. Also, you're half white and you need to acknowledge your Mexican side more, buddy. Peace. Now, that's the first one.
Okay.
And the second one, Andy the Mexican. This feels like join us next week, folks, for part 2 of this is an ongoing saga. I sent the other email before listening to your entire rant. You mentioned something about white explaining. I don't even see you as a white guy. I see you as a Mexican who identifies as white as a white guy, and as a Mexican who identifies as Jewish. It's ironic that you're telling me to read a book for both sides, coming from someone who still does not acknowledge that slaves themselves supported what I said. There are recordings of slaves saying exactly what I emailed. Yes, both sides are wrong, but like I said before, they did not know the torture that would come from the white people. Peace.
Okay. Here we go. First of all, I don't have to acknowledge anything. I am who I am, and I am this.
You're talking about in terms of you.
Yeah, me.
Right.
I am who I am, and I am this because of who I am, which is Mexican, which is Jewish, which is white. And when I say that I'm white, I acknowledge that I walk through this world as white. That's the only thing that's white about me. I get to walk through the world as white. I got to get the advantages of everything that's white because I look like this. So that's it. That's my whiteness. Do I feel like I'm Mexican, Hispanic? Honestly, I I respect my Hispanic culture. I respect my mom. I respect all my family. I respect my uncle who was there for me to raise me like he was my dad. When my father left, I respect all of that. Unfortunately, I don't speak Spanish. My mom didn't raise me to speak Spanish. I could say that that's my fault for not learning it. Still want to learn to this day, but I can barely speak English. So do I relate? And was I treated the same? No, I wasn't. So my relationship is different there. My religious upbringing was more Catholic, but I related more to when I studied later to being in Jewish. So all those things is what makes me who I am. So me acknowledging any of that, you need me to. Because that's what you're saying is that I need to acknowledge. I know exactly who I am when I go to sleep and when I wake up in the morning. It's why I question everything that I question. So I don't need to do anything for you. For myself, I'm very comfortable in my skin. I'm very happy with me. I love it. I love being me. I couldn't be anybody else. Just like anybody else who is comfortable with themselves, they wouldn't want to be anybody else. This is who I know. That being said, the reason I brought up a few of these when you said white tricks, I had to go back and try to think what you were talking about because we hadn't had this conversation. Here's what I realized that we had said. Aries asked me if black people ever got power, the power that they had, could they be the same as white people have been to black people? And I said I didn't know because they hadn't been in that power position. I only could relate it to what black people were able to do to black people in a power situation, because that's the only working knowledge I have. And you took that as me making white tricks. No, it was a conversation, and it was the only structure that I had to say that black people have been able to over black people. Now, you wanted to justify it as they didn't know. That's not true. They did know. Not everyone knew, not everyone, but what were some of the black people that were put into slavery? They were rival tribes, so they didn't care. They wanted to take them out of the tribes, sell them, and make money off of them. And it weakened the other tribes, and that was beneficial to that tribe. They weren't worried about whether they were going to be nice to them. And by your theory, that's just one point. By your theory of what's nice, the British didn't use slaves for farming, chattel slavery. They used them as housekeepers, manservants. They worked in the house. They were generally treated a little bit more, as the British would be a little bit more proper. But since they are the ones that started this, do you think that they should be thought of as slavery light? Because they didn't use them in fields, in horrible work situations? I'm not denying what your experience, what you read, what you've heard in tapes. I don't know where these tapes are because I haven't heard tapes on the ships, the wooden ships. I didn't know that they had tape recorders. I didn't know that they had big reel-to-reels on these ships. But if you have some magic tapes, I'm interested. I think they're transcribed from writings or maybe things that have been passed down. But what you're saying, I'm not going to deny that those experiences aren't true. What I'm saying is you're conflating different issues together to come up with what you said. The experience is that happened, and it wasn't as you put it to be positive. I don't know what slavery. If you can tell me the slavery you can describe that's positive, then maybe we can have the conversation where I'm going to be able to articulate it back to you on the same level. But I don't know how to do that. I'm being real honest with you. I'm not trying to move away from anything that you're trying to talk about. Yes, I agree. Slavery was worldwide. It wasn't. But it didn't start in Africa either, man. So, we just have a difference on what we have read and what our experience and what our knowledge is. And I'm not going to say that yours isn't correct. To you, what you've read, what you have is, but what I have is also, and I don't know that many people are going to disagree with me on how you approached it. Yes, and I know there's been apologies from African nations that have apologized for slave trading and said that they didn't know it was going to be that horrible. But when you go back and you look at where the beginnings of it and who they sold off and why they did it, you don't hold water all the time in the truth of what you're trying to say. There's more to this. Yes, some people could have been just nice, soft slavery. We're going to send you over here, and you're going to make pillows. But there were some people that just wanted to get the out of their country, and they could make money off of them. So they captured them, weakened the tribe, and sent those people out, including kings. That's how we get the whole statement that we came from, not me personally, but that we came from kings and queens.
We came from kings and queens.
So think about what you're saying, man. I'm not going to. I was mad at you the other day because the way that you said it. I didn't feel I didn't feel anything in here other than I know you're trying to have the conversation. You might disagree with me, but think about what you're saying and think about what's been said. That part right there, we came from kings and queens, is very important. If you came from kings and queens, why were kings and queens being sold? Because to be into gentle slavery or to be gotten rid of? And where is the care for those people then? Think about what you're saying. Don't just go off of what you heard and what you said and what you want to believe. Think about what we're saying. Just look at the line, man.
I want to see the tapes.
Yeah, I want to.
Show me the tapes. I want to hear the tapes. Because you don't. Back then there was no. Come on, you don't have the technology to do that. So I want to hear the tapes. Let me see the tapes.
It was probably something that was transcribed, and I'm not going to say that it's not correct because if there was writings and it was transcribed or was passed down, that can all be true. I'm just saying, think about what you're saying in totality, not just in the one instant and the one thing that you want to be true. Think about it as a whole. Because
tell the truth. We want you to tell the truth. I don't have anything to add. That's why I'm doing.
Yeah, it's fine.
Comical banter.
Are we there though?
I think we're there.
All right, let me give out those dates.
So this is going to be called Andy's Right.
No, it's not.
Not?
Oh yeah, because of but I'm not trying to be right.
Overcooked meat.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be right on this gentleman. I understand, and you know what? I felt him in what he said in this. I did. I felt like he was trying to speak on his truth, and he's saying what he believes, and I'm for that.
But your truth and what you believe does not mean that is their truth and what is to be believed.
It doesn't mean it's in its totality is true.
You have to be in your totality to be true.
All right, man. Let me get in. What did I put? There it is. I like how I said it, though, this time. All right, man. You're listening to this. This should be the 13th of June. And we're at... are you listening to this on the 14th? No, 14th. 13th. That's where we're at. We're at Capital City. We're in Austin, Texas. We're at Cap City Comedy Club. We're going to be there the 13th through the 16th. And we should have already been to Joe Rogan's comedy club out in Austin, the Mothership.
The Mothership. That's what they called the boat that took my tribe to America. They call it the Mothership. It was just nothing but black African pregnant women.
I'm laughing at it only because I'm thinking about...
You are white. You don't have to explain yourself to me.
No, but I was thinking about the Parliament and the Mothership connection and all that stuff. And I don't know if that's what...
One of the slaves on the ship, the white man asked him, "What is your name?" He said, "Bootsy Baby."
The Mothership, man. Hopefully we'll be talking about that on this next week's pod. But followed by that, June 22nd, I'm going to be saying my I do's, and Aries is at Albany Municipal Auditorium in Albany, Georgia. The 27th through the 30th, we're going to be at Helium Comedy Club in St. Louis. July 5th through the 6th, Funny Bone in Omaha. July 11th through the 14th, Irvine, California Improv. July 18th to the 20th, Cobb's Comedy Club in San Francisco, California. August 1st to the 3rd, we're going to be at Laugh Out Loud Comedy Club in San Diego. August 8th to the 10th, Mic Drop. I've just fucked that up. Laugh Out Loud Comedy Club, San Antonio, Texas. Mic Drop Comedy Club, August 8th to the 10th, San Diego, California. I fucked up, put them in the wrong cities. August 22nd to the 23rd, Stand Up Live in Phoenix, Arizona. August 24th, one night only at the Rialto Theater in Tucson, Arizona, hometown for me. August 30th through September 1st, we're going to be at the Improv in Houston, Texas. September 7th, the Complex in Salt Lake City, Utah. One night only. September 13th and the 14th, Hartford Funny Bone, Manchester, Connecticut, Hartford. September 20th through the 21st, my birthday, and also at the Improv in Kansas City. October 4th, Royal Oak Music Theater in Royal Oak, Michigan. And I'll give one more date. October 11th through the 13th, we're going to be at the Orlando, Florida Improv.
When do you get married?
The 22nd. Oh, you know what? Give me one more date on there. October 17th, we got one night only. Back in Canada for one night only.
Vancouver!
There we go, at the Playhouse.
So, what day you get married?
22nd. It's a Saturday.
You know I will be reinstating Prima Nocta.
I'll let Sarah know.
Oh, shit. Should it be called Andy's Right or Prima Nocta?
I don't like Andy's right.
Let's do Prima Nocta.
I'm going to do it with a question mark.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. No exclamation point. Yeah. It's not definitive. I just love that from that line.
I love it. I know exactly what you're talking about.
But it's from two places, actually.
But it's Iron Man.
Yes.
And
Braveheart.
Braveheart. Yep.
Yeah. When he goes to lift Thor's hammer, you understand? If I lift this, I will be reinstating Prima Nocta. That's so Tony Stark.
What's so funny about it, though, too, as soon as you say that, if you had the power to lift the hammer, as soon as you uttered those words, now you can't lift the hammer.
Right. Because it's impure.
Yeah.
Right. He himself.
Yep.
Man.
See, he Prima Nocta'd himself.
Yes, he Prima Nocta'd himself.
That's a show.
Spears and Steinberg.
Thanks for listening to the Spears and Steinberg podcast. If you'd like to know who's responsible for this, it was hosted by Ari Spears and Andy Steinberg, produced by Steve Merrick and Anthony Holmes, executive producer, Big Papa, Robert Kelly, and Matt Kleinschmidt for the Laugh Button Podcast. For more information on where to find us on the internet, visit SpearsburgPod.com.